My name is Anastasia, and I immigrated to Canada with my parents at the age of 19. Moving to Canada at that age felt like too much to handle because I had to figure out not just who I am as a young adult, but also who I am as a young adult in a country that has a different culture and speaks a different language. Where were you when you were 19? Let me know in the comments below. And in the meantime, let me share with you my 13 lessons that I learned since immigrating to Canada. It is probably one of the very first realizations that I've had. It was my second year in Canada and I had just started my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. And we had to do some sort of a final project for a multimedia class. And I remember spending at least half of the semester carefully crafting this project. I don't remember the specifics of this project. What I do remember is that I spent a lot of time on it, paying attention on all of those little details. And I was really happy with my outcome. And then the final presentation day comes and everyone presents their work. And I felt at the time that many projects seemed like they were assembled the night before. They felt mediocre. But then the grades came in and all those mediocre projects got an A or A+. What did I get? B+. I was furious. And then I rewatched the recordings from the class and I realized one common thing in what the A students did that I didn't. They told a beautiful story. Despite their outcome being not technically complex nor high quality, they put a meaning behind their project. What did I do? I just presented what the project was and what I did, just hard facts. So what I learned from that experience is that storytelling makes things more relatable. They inspire trust and confidence, and it unites people together consciously or subconsciously. So if you want to be interesting, make friends, get that next job, or seduce your next date, focus on telling captivating stories. This one, I think, is one of the biggest mindset shifts that I adopted during the years in Canada. You know, when you're a newcomer trying to learn about the new society and language, it's easy to lose confidence in yourself. And I remember I became a lot more shy. In the first few years after the move, even a simple task like asking someone directions or asking a teacher a clarifying question was generating great levels of anxiety in me. So when someone would suggest we go to an event or do a fun project together, I'd naturally decline because I wasn't sure I'd be good at it, always second-guessing myself. Everything's changed when I stumbled upon a businessman and influencer, Garyvee. Just like us, he was an immigrant from the former USSR who moved to the United States in the 70s. And he talks a lot about his immigration story and suggests to say yes more often. I started experimenting with saying yes more often, even to things that seemed way out of my league. That was also around the time when I started business school, and fast forward to today, I've said yes to a lot of life-changing opportunities by ignoring my own sense of insecurity and fear of failure. I signed up for things I wasn't qualified for, and these decisions were the most defining ones for my career. Saying yes introduced me to a lot of amazing people, and it allowed me to gain experience, which further unlocked more opportunities for me. Saying way too many yeses, however, without any regard for my own well-being, in my early 20s was not healthy. Balance is important. I had that period in life when I would take it to the extreme and say yes to literally everything. Want to help us organize a conference? Sure. Want to volunteer for 10 hours in terrible conditions? Sign me up. Want to do the project with mean people for free? Sure, let's do it. This was a recipe for disaster, and I eventually burned out. It was strange because I didn't even believe in such a thing. So when I researched the definition of burnout, I've learned that burnout is oftentimes caused by working too much and getting stressed because of the pressure that you're getting. All that while you don't find the work itself enjoyable or fulfilling. And my biggest lesson here is that it's still extremely important to enjoy and see tangible value in the work that you're doing. Don't take the first job that comes just because you desperately need it. Or don't volunteer or take on projects that don't directly contribute to your career or portfolio. Be picky. And lastly, listen to your gut. If it's not a yes, it's likely a no. The ease with which I'd lost my identity after moving to Canada was shocking. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I even thought of changing my name just so that people can tell that I'm Russian. I wanted to become Stacy. I practiced so hard getting rid of my accent so that I could blend with born Canadians, so that they wouldn't think that I'm any different than them. There are many things that are wrong with that, but I'll highlight these two. No matter how hard I try, there will always be something that gives away my immigrantness. Either the slight accent, or intonation, or some cultural references from where I grew up. And second, trying to be someone else is literally a recipe for disaster, and also for burnout or depression. Don't try to be someone else. Everyone else is taken, so just be you. I've actually grown to respect and love the fact that I come from a different culture and speak a different language. That's what makes me different, and different is good. Don't ever be ashamed of being different. Have you ever felt like a project that you're working on must be crystal perfect, so you spend a lot of time on it before actually letting anyone see it? Or maybe there is an essay or a report that you have to write that you couldn't finish because you were fixing the tiniest imperfections. I did all of that. Being in a new country with English as a second language and French as third, I lost confidence. And I fell into the rabbit hole of everything must be crystal clear, otherwise I will be exposed. I don't even know what exposed even means anymore. Anyways, as a result, things took a lot longer to finish, and I missed deadlines at work. I made my teammates wait, which actually made them think that I was slacking instead of actually doing the work. In reality, I was obsessing over making sure it had no errors and was done perfectly right. The biggest fear for me was if I misunderstood the assignment, I was afraid of looking like a complete idiot. Everything's changed when I got some mentorship advice from my very first boss, and his advice was simple. A bad decision is better than no decision. With a bad decision, you learn from it quickly and are guaranteed to do better next time by quickly eliminating the wrong choice. With no decision, you just stay at the same level you are and keep stressing over and over again over the same thing. 80% of all jobs I've had were thanks to the people that I knew. And that's coming from an immigrant who did not know anyone when I arrived to Canada. Connections and networking matter a lot. And I don't mean it in the bad sense where you get to bypass rules and land a job that you're not qualified for. No. What I mean is that knowing people makes it a lot easier for you to get a job, build trust, and have credibility. Time and time again, I've seen Canadian society being risk-averse. You can see it in how teams shape too. When a new position opens up, people will always look for a new candidate within their network to find someone they already have a level of trust and potentially work well with. Numerous HR research also shows that those who refer their friends or work with their friends stay at the jobs longer and are happier at their jobs. So naturally, the more people you know, the more opportunities you have for finding a job, a mentor, or just a friend. And it's pure statistics too. If your chance of getting a job from someone you know is about 1%, then just increase the number of people you know. 1% from 100 is just 1. But if you connect it to 1,000 of people, you're already looking at 10, and it's 10 times more. As I've grown in my career and started building out my own teams and started hiring, I did exactly that. I would go around and look for someone I know first, or ask friends if they know anyone. This way, I'm not hiring a complete stranger that I don't know and I don't know what to expect from. I had a very specific definition of success when I came to Canada. It's having a house, driving a German car, and working a 9-to-5 job in a downtown skyscraper, dressed up in a fancy suit. That was my definition of success in my early 20s. I don't know where I got that from, probably movies. And as the time passed, my definition for success evolved into starting my own business and working from 9 to 9 because I thought hustling was cool. Then my success definition became traveling the world and working on the beach while sipping on a cocktail. Now I'm in my 30s, and my success definition is working as much as I'd like and on the things that I love, like this channel, not having to stress about anything in life. Another thing to note here is that as I've met people who've matched my definition of success at each point of my past, the strangest thing for me was that they weren't happy. Now I understand clearly why. And the point here is that there's no universal definition of success. It depends on what you value in life, and it also evolves as you get more experience and meet more people and grow as a human. Health is the single most important thing that you have. When you're in your 20s, it's easy to overlook it. You take your health for granted, and the body of a 20-year-old is pretty damn resilient. As I look back, it withstood quite a bit of stress, pulling all-nighters to study for an exam, drinking 2 cans of Red Bull, and going out with friends afterwards. As I've already shared with you, that led me to burnouts in the past, and I lived through some health problems as a result. They really taught me the lesson that it doesn't matter who you know, what you do, how much money you're making, or what job you have. None of that matters unless you are in a good health to fully enjoy your life. Nothing is worth as much as health, because once it's gone, it's really hard to get it back. Sleeping well, eating well, and doing exercise a couple of times a week is easy, and it goes a very long way. Remember I told you earlier about my definition of success? BMW and a house? All that made sense until I got my very first car, a Mazda 3 2008. I was excited. I was so happy, and it did make me happy because suddenly I could go anywhere at any time. Getting a first car is pretty empowering. But a few years later, I wanted another car, and then another, and so on. And the truth is, buying the first car unlocked new possibilities for me. But every subsequent car was just more of a status or a cosmetic upgrade. The excitement of that new purchase dissipated as quickly as the full gas tank. Sadly, the loans that I took out to get the cars did not dissipate nearly as fast as that. And there's something to be said about the whole culture of buying things for the status. Shopping just because you got a bonus and that you have some extra money. The happiness that the new purchase brings you goes away quickly. What I appreciate doing instead is saving and investing excess money I have, so that later in life I can spend them on experiences, climbing a mountain, surfing in the Pacific, or camping with friends. The happiness from these experiences lasts forever. New experiences keep me in a good shape, help me relax and get away from the routine. Let me ask you, how long does your new watch or a new phone keep you happy for? In some cultures, asking for help is a sign of weakness and it's frowned upon. And the culture that I grew up is certainly like that. So things like asking the teacher to help with homework, or asking your colleague to explain something at work, or even asking for a referral for a job, all of these were highly uncomfortable for me during my first few years in Canada. But then I saw people around me do that left and right, and at some point I just tried doing that too. First, I was pleasantly surprised by how happy and eager people are generally to help you. It feels good for the one helping, and if you're the one getting help, it helps you move forward a lot faster. And if you're lucky, you get to learn new things and also make new friends along the way. There was a point in my life where I had networked so much that every single thing that came my way was a fuck yeah. Either it was a project or party or job offer. There were just so many of them that I was eagerly saying yes, being afraid that an opportunity like that would never happen to me again. I had FOMO. But then more and better opportunities kept coming up, and I struggled making decisions, stressing over choosing between 2 amazing jobs or 2 trips to go to, until I realized that there will always be cool things coming my way. If this job came around, then there'll be another one at some point in the future. And if this event is happening, I'm sure it will happen again if it really is that good. That way, I stopped chasing every single thing that felt like a once-time opportunity, and I started being selective over my time and energy. This one is one of the more recent ones. I like many things, but I don't know what I will focus on for the next 3 years of my life. It doesn't mean that I'm an unemployed hippie of some sort. I have a career and I take it lightly, and I'm actually proud of that. The truth is that I did not know what I was doing for a majority of my career. Always faking it till making it, and always hiding that part of me because everyone else around me for some reason knew exactly who they were and where they were headed. Getting a bachelor's degree, getting a 9-to-5 in finance or management consulting, and knowing exactly what needs to get done for promotion, playing by all these networking rules and office politics, following all the rules just so that they would wake up when they're 30 or 40 and realize that they forgot to live and have nothing to be excited about in their life. I think that not knowing is actually a superpower. Your life can be filled with so many surprises and spontaneity. And the experience you get along the way will be your reward, not your punishment. Experiment, try new things, and don't try to box yourself into a single thing that everyone else, or that you think everyone else expects you to fit into. We're brought to this world to enjoy it and have fun. This one is a skill I developed in my profession as a product manager. Coming up with ideas is easy. Turning ideas into reality is intimidating and ultimately hard. The truth is that it will always seem impossible until you've actually done it. Every single invention, product, and company started with just one step. Either it was a conversation with someone else to learn more about the field, or it was a book you read to understand the concept, or a person you meet to discuss an idea. It doesn't matter how big the task is, there's always a tiny step that you can take that's ultimately very easy. You can always break big things down to smaller tasks. What's that one thing that you feel is impossible for you, and what's the next easiest step that you think you could take in order to get closer to your dream? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!